This is the Green Room. I'm Katelyn Matson, joined by people from the Newton Mid-Kansas Symphony Orchestra. Jill Gates, who's not only the orchestra manager, but also clarinetist with the orchestra, and the music director, conductor, Chris Westover Munoz. Hello to both of you. Unmute your microphones there and we'll get you on the air.
Good
Hello.
afternoon, Katelyn.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for being here. You are preparing your Winter Classics concert, which is Sunday, January the 29th at 4 o'clock. Where is the program at? What venue?
We're at Bethel College Memorial Hall.
Bethel College Memorial Hall, Sunday afternoon, January the 29th at 4 o'clock. This is a great concert. Not only does it naturally would feature the symphony orchestra, but also the soloists, the winners of your young artist competition. Jill, you've been a member of the symphony for quite a while now. You've been in your position for several years. Tell us a bit about the competition that you hold every year for young musicians.
Right, Katelyn. The Young Soloist competition, we began in, I think, 2008. And we have students, we have a high school and college division, so both divisions will have a representative playing. And in 2019, we renamed the competition the Dwight Beckham Young Soloist Competition after our former principal trumpeter and a wonderful educator and trumpet player, Dwight Beckham Sr.
And your two soloists for this concert, a high schooler from Andover, a Sophie Thiessen, a violinist, and also Eli Rigier from Bethel College, who is a saxophonist.
Right, yeah.
Chris, tell us a bit about the repertoire for this concert. The students who audition to perform with the symphony orchestra, I would imagine, get to choose their repertoire, and in turn, you are kind of at the mercy of what your winning soloists want to play. Does that have any influence on your end decision of who is going to play with the symphony, or do you just follow their lead?
Well, yeah, that's a great question, Katelyn. We are a bit at their mercy, but we've been fortunate to have really wonderful soloists and wonderful teachers of those young soloists who choose really great repertoire for them. For me, what's special this year, I love the Brook Concerto, but I was a saxophonist in a former life. And so the Mios Scaramouche that Eli is playing is a piece I actually never played. So I'm finally getting to check that box and play it, even though I'll be holding the stick and not the saxophone. So
you kind of live vicariously through your soloists.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So Sophie, the violinist, is playing the, movement number 1 of Max Bruch's Violin Concerto number 1. And then, as you mentioned, the Mio Scaramouche. Movements 2 and 3, a work for saxophone and orchestra. And that is being performed by Eli, who is a student at Bethel. What else is on the program, Chris?
The second half of the program is really special to me. It features 2 pieces, a piece from Smetana's Mavlast, a really long tone poem. We're playing one movement of that, Tabor. It deals with kind of Czech history, and Smetana was writing at a time when Czech national identity was being formed in the art culture, and he wrote this piece. I think we're going to hear in a little bit about history, and in fact, a familiar character, Good King Wenceslas, we often sing about at Christmas, is a mythical figure in their culture. And he chose a 14th century Hussite hymn to base this piece on. And Karel Hussa's piece from 1968 uses the same Hussite song from the 14th century.
Does it really?
So they really connect. The Karel Hussa piece is, of course, not quite as celebratory. It's actually written about the Soviet crackdown on democratic reforms, what's known as the crushing of the Prague Spring in 1968. And so, of course, this program was chosen with a kind of a contemporary resonance. We're now at about almost a year anniversary since the conflict in Ukraine, and this piece is probably the most famous or most often played contemporary classical piece for orchestra, and it's been getting even more play in the last 12 months.
This is one of those pieces where I think a lot of audience members wouldn't know the title, they wouldn't know the
Yeah,
composer, but they'll hear it and they'll go, "Oh yeah."
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's immediately recognizable. It's absolutely beautiful. Um, it brings you into what, if war could sound like music, this
If war
powerful.
could sound like music. Mm.
It's really powerful. I've never played this piece, and the audience is always just breathtaking at the end.
So the piece, the actual title is called Music for Prague 1968. And the composer Karel Husa,
Yeah.
Husa, for anybody that wants to go read up about it, or maybe, refamiliarize yourself, find a YouTube link and hear a little bit. Really powerful music, and definitely a wonderful theme going on for your Winter Classics concert. We are going to hear a little bit of the Bedřich Smetana, the tabor from his Mavlast. Probably the Mavlast, probably Bedřich Smetana's best known music, would you say? Maybe not this
Yes.
particular movement. Most people
Yeah.
know the Moldau as the most famous movement of that particular suite.
Yeah, that's right. The Moldau is the most famous one. They're all great, but the others don't get played so much, and that's one of the delights of this. Is I think the orchestra actually played the Moldau maybe just a year and a half ago. So now we get to experience a very different part of this same piece. So.
Well, let's listen to just a few moments, and then we'll be back to talk with Jill Gates, clarinetist and general manager of the Newton-McKansas Symphony Orchestra, along with their conductor, music director, Maestro Chris Westover Munoz. Tabor movement from Bedřich Smetana's Mavlast. That is programmed for the Newton-McKansas Symphony Orchestra concert Sunday afternoon, January the 29th. I not only have their conductor, Chris Westover Munoz, with me in the green room, but also their general manager and clarinetist, Jill Gates. Jill, can you give us a rundown of date, time, place, and how to get tickets?
Sure. Our Winter Classics concert is on Sunday, January 29th. That's a week from Sunday at 4 o'clock at Bethel College Memorial Hall. And we have tickets available online on our website, nmkso.org. You can also get them at Faith and Life Bookstore in Newton. And you can also probably get them on the online link through Facebook. If you're on Facebook, just look up Newton-McKansas Symphony, and we'll keep posting it on Facebook so you can catch that.
We were talking while the music was playing about Jill's career with the symphony and how for her it's very much just a part of her at this point, not only because she has been the manager for several years, but just been a member of the symphony. You have played with the symphony since the 90s, since the mid to late 90s. And I can imagine that there are several orchestral members that you can say the same about, musicians around the area who it's just a labor of love. It's probably their favorite pastime, their favorite hobby. Music teachers, who love to gig together. Tell us a bit about the atmosphere of the orchestra.
Right. It really is a group of musicians that come together just for the love of playing. And many of them have been playing just as long or longer than I have with this same orchestra. And it's really like a family. I mean, we really have gotten to know one another, and within a section you play together with people over the years, and so it's just really a wonderful opportunity that I think everybody really appreciates, and we feel like we have this little gem that we want people to know about and we want to share with them.
Yeah, and such a wonderful concert. Chris Westover Munoz, you took over as music director. Time, you know what? Time is strange. I kind of, some days I lose all track of time and I blame the pandemic. Has it been one full year yet?
This is my first full season. I think my first concert was in February last year when we were up
Aha.
at Tabor College. Yeah, so it's been right at a year now. Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about you. First of all, where you fly in from, where you travel from to conduct the symphony orchestra. What other groups do you have a hand in conducting or performing in as well?
Sure. Well, I'm coming to you from my studio at Denison University in the great state of Ohio,
Hmm.
Ohio, and just outside of Columbus. Um, and I'm the director of bands at Denison, so I conduct our wind ensemble and teach a smattering of other things here at the university. But I conduct in a lot of different places. I spend a fair amount of time in Poland um, every year conducting groups there and different places around the country. But Newton, I taught at Bethel for 3 years. So Newton holds a very special place. I still have lots of great friends. In fact, Eli Regier, one of our soloists, is the younger brother of a former student of mine. So the connections, all roads lead back to Newton somehow.
All
So
roads lead back to home.
yeah,
You know, isn't that the truth though? That's
yeah,
one of the things I love so much about all of our regional performing ensembles are all the connections that you can make. People who have known each other for decades, daughters, sons, brothers,
mhm,
sisters, you start to recognize family names,
yeah,
musical family names, and
sure,
you can bet on it. Oh, their father was in the orchestra, bet you anything, the son's going to be in there too because he loves to play. It's just the best.
yeah. I have a colleague here for this semester. We're directing the musical together, and we were talking, and she saw the orchestra name on my email signature and said, "What's your connection?" I lived in Newton and taught there from 1977 to 1994. And we spent 15 minutes in the hallway saying, "Wait, did you know?" And I was listing all the orchestra members that are still involved with the orchestra, and uh, all roads lead back somehow. It's a
Yes, they
yeah.
do. Okay, one last time. Chris, tell us what is on the program.
We have 2 young artist soloist winners, the first movement of the Max Bruch Violin Concerto and 2 movements of Darius Milhaud's Scaramouche for saxophone and orchestra. And then in the second half, we have Tabor from Mavlost by Smetana, and then Karel Husa's masterpiece, Music for Prague, 1968.
Scaramouche, isn't that a lyric in Bohemian Rhapsody?
It is.
I think that your hook should be as you market your upcoming concert.
It's right before the part about the fandango, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Wondering what that's all about? Friends, go to the symphony. Hear the
Yeah.
Scaramouche by Mio. Thank you both so much for being here. Their concert is Sunday, January the 23rd at 4 o'clock, Bethel College Memorial Hall. Have a fantastic concert and, just enjoy making beautiful music together. Thank you for being here.